On Monday, the PTF on COVID-19 announced the next phase of the gradual easing of lockdown, ordered to further curtail the spread of coronavirus. While government announced the extension of the lockdown ease by another 4 weeks, it added what it termed the safe reopening of schools, lifted ban on interstate travels with effect from July 1. Domestic flights are also set to resume. However, churches, mosques and cinemas remain closed. Primary and secondary pupils not in terminal classes and student and tertiary institutions will remain at home. While some residents lauded the latest announcement, others urged government to fashion out modalities which reflect Nigeria's peculiar nature and realities.
Well, that is not to the best interest of the masses, because as I said earlier, masses supposed to have been consulted on situations like this, just like what I said earlier. Students are being forced to remain at home. But the general issue now is that some people are not even convinced that the issue of COVID-19 are generally claimed.
How long are we going to still lock down an economy that is not smiling? It doesn't make sense. So the best bet for us is let's fashion this our own pandemic to our own peculiar, nature of our country. Because we can't continue to be dogmatic. We keep following the Western world. Are we America? Are we France? We are not Western world. If they plan theirs in a way, we should fashion out, our own, best style to come out of this thing without us being that much heat. Because if we continue to lock down, I keep saying this, our economy will suffer for it. And God forbid, it's only God that knows how long we are going to come out of it.
Princess Adebanjo Abosede, on her part, urged government to take into consideration commuters and travelers who might be caught up in the usual Lagos traffic and are unable to get to their destination before 10 p.m. Curfew begins at 10, and obviously we are not expected to still be out at that time. However, what about those who will still travel and are unable to get home before 10 due to the heavy traffic? I urge government to take that into consideration, especially here in Lagos. There was a day I was almost apprehended at Unipanu on my way home. Due to the heavy traffic, I alighted and decided to trek. I didn't know the traffic was caused by officers at a checkpoint and people were being flogged. On the resumption of graduating pupils in Primary 6, Junior Secondary School 3 and Senior Secondary School 3, respondents lauded government's decision but chided the Ministry of Education and relevant stakeholders.
As far as the situation from the school is concerned, I totally support. Why? Because those students are the ones that are getting ready to leave school, graduate, and do exam. Are you understanding me? In my own days, I happened to be one of the first set in Nigeria to do WAEC in May. So we cut 1 year out of our syllabus. We had to stay in school the previous year for the whole year so that our syllabus can be covered. So these students also, for them to do good in their exam, they also have to return back to school.
Well, that decision should have been taken long ago, because obviously it's going to affect their calendar, their school calendar. Well, it could as well be if perhaps the issue of COVID-19 is a reality. Well, the step should be a good one in the right direction, because it will reduce the number of students or influx of students in school presently.
Pupils who will be resuming should be closely monitored. Some of them spent their transport fares and then lapped their friends. I have seen it happen. They even approach adults for alms. Relevant stakeholders should ensure these children observe social distancing, because we can't vouch for the health situation of their family members back at home. And when they lap each other, the virus can spread easily. The coronavirus pandemic, they all maintained, has trumped up the need for all sectors in the country to restructure and put in place mechanisms to tackle unforeseen circumstances.
I would say they fared well, because in the advanced country, though we don't have all the whatever like the advanced country, But government they are making use of all the resources that can, what they could get. I believe they are doing well. I can commend them, but they still have to do more in the area of testing. They still have to increase the rate of testing. They still have to increase the rate of testing.
We should see this pandemic as an opportunity for us to actually rejig, you understand, all our sectors. We should not be limited to health sector alone or education alone. All the sector should be rejigged now. All what need to be put in place should be put in place. And a proviso for the government. We should not wait for another pandemic of this such to come up again before we start planning ahead. Every country of the world that wants to be a developed country always look ahead.
Judith Renua for Galaxy News, Lagos.